Now what do we do? I have no clue what we're supposed to be doing. All right.
Probably talking about drinking horns.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hello and welcome. It's Locking Horns, and it's me, Matthew Split Melling, and tonight I'm joined by my brother Torbjorn. Torbjorn and I go way back. Tonight we're getting together to talk a little bit about Viking drinking horns, or should we just say drinking horns, or at least the history of it, so to speak. Why do we have a drinking horn in our society today? Why do we still do things with animal parts?
Well, I mean, I think it's just very, for us to keep in touch with our roots and our ancestry. And also, it's just a really cool thing to drink out of. I mean,
I think it's cool.
the most attention I think I've ever gotten in a bar has been drinking out of a horn.
School.
And so, yeah, I mean, the artwork we do on them grabs attention. The horn by itself grabs attention. Yeah. And, well, I mean, some of them can hold a ridiculous
hefty
amount.
Yeah. We have some horns with us that have been carved by myself and Torbjorn here. And but first, let's kind of get back to the history, so it's not misunderstood that it's just the Viking drinking horn. No, we use it to. It's almost a tactile connection for us to utilize the same type of tool for the same type of reason that our ancestors did on the ships and on the shores of their country, sharing wonderful beverages for multitudes of reasons, ceremonies,
Absolutely, yeah.
drinking games.
Oaths.
So somewhere around 450 BC, 500 BC is the first recorded history that we have of a bovine horn being used as a drinking vessel. That was the Thracians and the Scythians, and that's somewhere west due to the Black Sea area. Right around 500 BC. The most evidence that was found of them are drinking horn or horn fragments in their warrior graves that were excavated, and archaeology done.
Well, yeah, I mean, your drinking horn was as vital and important as your weapons. I mean, you definitely had to have something to draw water from, and even back then, people understood the idea that you could get sick by just drinking straight out of a stream or something. So
Right.
they would pull it out, and you get the settlement settles, and then you have decent drinking.
So
water.
according to the Scythian lore, is one of their ancestral kings was bestowed a drinking horn from their god, who had come down to walk earth to gift him this drinking horn. Don't know the name of the god, don't know the name of the king. We just know that their lore reflects, a god coming down and said, "Here you go."
Yeah.
And since then we've been drunk as a planet.
Names get lost in antiquity.
No doubt. And then we get to the Dark Ages, where the drinking horn is still utilized, as part of, everyday culture. You didn't necessarily have to be a king or a queen or a royalty or a royal family to, have a drinking horn. But the incredibly ornate ones, and there's some the word that I'm looking for is examples of them in some museums. But incredibly ornate horns, rings wrapped around the top, exquisite carvings done all throughout. They've been found again, in graves and other.
Yeah, with the brass and gold and silver.
They found
adornments.
one that was made of glass, and they found one that was entirely, completely made out of gold. Kind of had a ram's head on one end and the front paws, and that's how it sat upright. And then from there, as history flows by, we get into the Viking Age. From the Prose Edda to Beowulf, the mention of decorated and gilded drinking horns is scattered throughout, Viking history, antiquity, and, the religious lore as well. It was a part of that culture. And that's probably where it jumped off big, as far as, being renowned by history.
Well, yeah, because that's kind of the big part in human history where historians were starting to travel and actually start recording other people's histories, like the Vikings, who didn't really have a recorded history. I love this new horn you got going here that you've been working on.
So this is
9 realms.
So this is a horn that I have had for about 3 years. It was a horn that I acquired in trade from someone. It's always kind of been one of those things that, this is my back shelf masterpiece. So I haven't been working on it for 3 years, but it's taken me 3 years to complete it. Yeah. It is a full wrap of the Yggdrasil. I don't know how many leaves I've carved onto it, but it's the Yggdrasil tree wrapped around the 9 realms, and it's quite massive.
It is. It's quite beautiful too. Just kind of get a slow turn. And it's really thick and like really heavy, dense horn, which are some of the best to get to carve.
Drink with that and kill with that. And this one,
as we refer to them as
this
baseball
one
bats.
Is a Jormungandr horn that I carved. Probably 30 to 40 hours of work in this one. Jormungandr, he goes up and down the horn twice and then swallows his own tail. And this is actually on loan to me from the owner who owns it now. Just to do a little show off of what modern day drinking horns look like. My personal use drinking horn is much smaller. But still holds 12 or 14 ounces. It is of the god Tyr, and there's a T-wise rune on it. And this one was done with a wood burner, so it's not actually carved. But there's a lot of things that you can do with them, from just keeping them as drinking vessels to bowls, spoons, hair adornments.
Yep, they would use them to make combs. You heat them up, they lay flat just like a piece of plastic, and you can actually carve them into a comb to do your beard or your hair with. Yeah,
absolutely. So let me ask you this, Torbjorn, as someone who has done some horn work yourself, where do you see, or how do you see the modern day drinking horn in modern day society? Because, quite honestly, you and I have been carrying a drinking horn into bars for off and on for 10 years.
Well, honestly, I mean, I'm surprised that there isn't more people interested in using them, and because we have a lot of people who are, kind of like ourselves, reenactors, and they like to, be that person of that age. But for the most part around the world, not just, Scandinavia or, in Europe itself, most every culture has some type of drinking vessel that they use that's made of horn, whether it be cow horn or water buffalo. And just to the fact that I don't see more people who are paying homage to their ancestry and such not participating in this as well. And some of that may be because they just weren't as ornate in other cultures as much as they were in the Scandinavian cultures, but to me it's just one of those things that I want to have it around me all the time. It's just beautiful to look at. These are, in my household, are prize pieces. They get put on a mantle to view and enjoy daily.
To be honored.
Yeah, to be honored. And then I love just having it. It's right there. Run a little water through it. Let's go to the bar.
A good clean and rinse, and off we go. Yeah, and honestly, just good basic maintenance, soap and water, rinse it out after use, let it dry out, and you're good for the next use. They're so versatile. And ever since that I've discovered, utilizing one for, I drink coffee out of one, I drink mead out of a cup, I drink mead out of my horns.
Yeah.
And for me, I've been carving and doing horn work for about 6 years now. It's not like mass production or anything like that, but I've done some pieces over the years and evolved my work, and I personally kind of jumped into it and said, I can do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Watch me.
Yeah. You see somebody else's, and you're like, oh, that's beautiful, but I can do better.
Or you see somebody else's piece and you're like, oh, you are leagues above me.
There are those people, for sure.
There's a couple of people specifically. I've had two kind of mentors. Denise Bowen, and Ralph Brody was the guy that was like, oh wow, you're the horn guy, right? You're the horn guy. You're the guy I was supposed to come talk to. You were the horn guy. Like, he owns Valhalla Horns.
Right. Yeah, I have one of his pieces.
And beautiful, absolutely ornate artwork. The both of them, just incredible artwork. Your horn, sir, of the twins. How long did this take you?
Honestly, mostly just because all of these I had to chip out literally with like magnifying glass and a razor blade. Probably, if I strung it all together in nonstop time, 3 months.
3 months. So you're thinking, I don't know. You went in there with a.
Because that had.
Dude, I know that took you a while.
Yeah, there was
I
no.
bet you have a solid 30 hours in that.
There's no power tools. There was no any of that. I literally just sketched it on and dug it out.
This is the twin to this. So Torbjorn and I should say Torbjorn came to me and said, hey, I have this opportunity to get this gorgeous matching pair of horns. Do you want one? And we'll do the Sons of Thor. So this one is Magdi. He carved Magdi, and I had Modi. This one I probably jumped into way too soon, way too early. The Modi carving was chisel. Was a little tap hammer and chisel, and just slowly etched it out and away. But these hold 2 bottles apiece.
Yeah.
So these are when you have a basement full of people and say, all right, who wants mead?
Yeah, exactly.
And everybody puts their hand up.
Exactly.
And you get one vessel out. And
pass
you
it around.
share the moment. Yeah. Absolutely. So the Viking horn, or rather the drinking horn, has been around for 2,600 years.
Yeah, easily. I mean, probably even before recorded history. I mean, it's a simple vessel. I mean, anybody who either kept cattle or, in the wild days actually hunted any kind of bovine would have either had these left over after they're
utilized the whole
animal.
Right.
Or they would have found them in the wild because, like deer, they drop them. So
right.
It was just an instant vessel. You literally pulled it up, you carved out a little bit of the goop that was on the inside, and bam,
cleaned
you
it
had
up.
a cup.
Yep, there it was. And of course, they also took, they would cut them off and do a piece of wood in the bottom and put some taps in the side of it, and then seal the bottom with beeswax, and boom, you got a cup.
Yep. That was much more probably Dark Ages and
so
Ages,
that kind of was more
Age.
Known probably during that Renaissance Dark Ages era into the Viking Age, and then forward it was more commonly recognized to have cups. Yeah. But still, that it is a drinking horn. So from bovine horn pieces to gilded solid gold drinking vessels. Hopefully we get another 2,500 years of drinking horn history.
And the fun part is there's actually a company, I don't remember the name of the company, that actually makes a coffee cup that is a shape of a drinking horn.
Yeah.
And it's like, of course, modern day materials. There's
Right.
no horn in it, but it's in the shape of a drinking horn.
Right.
And it has like a little, like, I don't know what you would call it, a stand.
Holder.
That comes with it that you can sit it on your counter with. And
I've seen that
comes with
done,
a lid and everything.
I've seen that done with a single horn where they'll cut the top 6 inches off, cut a circle in the side of it, and then there is the horn holder for the horn stand for the next thing. But again, let's just hope that we get another 2,500 years of drinking horn history. I guess the modern day material one's going to last another 5,000 years as long as it doesn't see the sunlight.
Right.
But so let's just honor our ancestors and drink the way they did from horns. Skål.
Skål.
Good night.